Hello, everyone. Welcome to Game 3 in this wonderful matchup, ChristosOwen versus jkoper. This is yet another race in the group stage of the Link to the Past 2019 Randomizer Tournament. I am going to be one of the co-coms in the booth here. My name is Hammerbro, and I am joined today by Edium. How are you doing today, man?
Doing fantastic. So, like you said, we got Game 3 here. This is still the first round. So the winner of this will go on to face Hitsuyan1337 in the winners final, and the loser of this race is going to face Paradox64 for their tournament life. So a lot on the line here.
Yeah, and these are two guys who are really good at ALTTP and really good at the randomizer, so I am looking forward to what will hopefully be nice.
Yeah, for sure. So I believe the settings for this are going to be normal 7-7 open, but with fast Ganon. That is jkoper's choice as the loser of Game 2.
We might be getting either a catfish or a Zora reference here, because it looks like we have some fish swimming. At least that's what it looks visually like to me. I know very little Japanese, unfortunately. But yeah, this part of the group stage is where the rubber hits the road. We're starting to get into a lot more elimination games and a lot more games where people are actually, where you can feel the pressure of maybe getting into one of those bracket stages. So this is where stuff gets fun. I just hope that people get get randoed a little less often than they have been so far, because I like close races.
Yeah, who doesn't?
The randomizer.
It's a good point.
So what are you looking for in this race? Are you hoping for a quick match here, or are you hoping that we still end up getting about an hour and 40 minutes out of a quick Ganon seed?
You know what? I don't know. As long as it's a close race. You know what? The kind of seeds I like are the seeds that are wide open, and you have to make some difficult decisions. Those, to me, are the most interesting. So I hope we get Dark World access really early, and the runners have to make a lot of decisions on how to route.
Yeah, I can feel that. I'm a huge fan of divergence. I don't want to see a straight line race. I want to see people going in opposite directions. So chat and us, we just have absolutely no idea who's in first place, who's ahead or behind until pretty much the last moment. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, so we are getting underway. jkoper starting at Sank, and Christos starting at Link's house. So we're getting that immediate divergence we're hoping for. And we do have a book in the sanctuary, which could potentially be routed into a very early ped check if jkoper decides to.
I'll tell you what, though, those bombs were that's a really, really nice early grab. Meanwhile, we did get a map check, and if what I saw was correct, we had all crystals in the light world, and Eastern was a 5-6. Uncle giving us a fairy in a bottle there, which is super nice. We can route in Sick Kid now.
Yeah, and actually with those bombs, ChristosOwen could potentially go into escape here. You need a minimum of 5 bombs to clear the whole of escape, so 10 gives you plenty to work with.
That's a good point. There's a decent chance we're going to see that right now. So good call on the routing there.
And while I was talking about that, jkoper found a hammer and a bunch more bombs from that tree pole. And yeah, he is going for that immediate ped check. So get your hype in chat right away.
Yep, unfortunately, we're not going to have any PED speculation this go around, because we're just going to have straight up knowledge in just a minute here.
Wear this to become invisible. That is the magic cape. It's not likely that'll be required, but it's very possible.
Alright, so what's on Bumper Cave?
Yeah, so scratch what we were saying. We are going to have some ped speculation until we get that check of the bumper ledge. It's also possible it could be logically required for Spike Cave, but I think these runners would probably rather find some potions and stuff to get through there.
Yeah, and we do already have that fairy in a bottle, so we already have a couple of extra hearts at our disposal once we get a little bit more health.
Christos using nice bomb strats gets through with the minimum of 5 bombs. Everyone has different setups for doing this, so it's kind of fun to see what each runner decides to do.
Yeah, very much so. I really do not enjoy playing Bomb Escape, but I enjoy watching it, and these guys are very good at it. So
Yeah, ChristosOwen going to take care of that ball and chain guard with just 2 pots to the face. And the boots!
oh.
So front of escape paying off pretty nicely, and looks like jkoper will be getting that as well. He'll have a bit of an easier time with that hammer, though.
And honestly, with the boots, it wouldn't terribly surprise me to see ChristosOwen just go ahead and check the pedestal as well, because it's even faster for him.
Yeah. We also forgot to mention there is some powder there in escape. So we got a hammer and powder. That means Magic Bat will be open to both these runners right off the bat.
Yeah, I don't believe we got a lumberjack ledge check from jkoper. With the boots, it wouldn't surprise me to see Christos check it. So we might have some new information here. Meanwhile, on jkoper's side, the hammer being the hammer.
And that looked like just 20 rupees to me on the lumberjack ledge, so not going to need that.
Yep, Aghanim not looking required just yet. Hopefully we'll get that early Dark World access like you wanted, and Aghanim will not be required at all. Looks like we are not going to get a ped check from Christos.
Alright, so that is some information he's going to pass up.
And interestingly enough, at 5 minutes, we still have neither runner having entered Kakariko at all. Christos obviously on the way, but it's been a kind of a late check for our runners.
Yeah, so it looks like jkoper's heading there as well from the south side. So we're going to kind of see everything in slightly different order.
And depending on what's up here, this could be very interesting to try and keep track of.
And that bomb not placed exactly correctly for Christos.
Well, there's the Moon Pearl and a mail upgrade, and a full heart, which honestly is not bad this early in the race. Speaking of full hearts, jkoper grabbing one off the library.
Alright, jkoper now taking a look at the tavern, and we got the Ether Medallion. And with that bottle, we can now check Sick Kid. And just some bombs there.
Meanwhile, so far in the well, not much to write home about. We'll see if that continues. Up there's the Arrow of Destiny, and there's a bow for it. That's kind of an amusing set of items to end.
Yeah, for sure. Now, jkoper did not go to check Magic Bat. Might have just slipped his mind. Maybe he'll head over there right now.
Meanwhile, 7 minutes in, Bottle Vendor gives Christos the gloves, so Christos officially has Dark World access, like he wanted.
All right.
Meanwhile, we're going to get a check of Alfred in the Batcave.
And we can confirm with that, AGA1 will not be required today.
And thank goodness for that.
Alright, just a heart piece there on the bat. Christos picking up that ether medallion. jkoper going up, will do the well and Blind's Hut.
Yep, at this point they're just going to follow each other's steps and complete the other half of Kakariko. And yep, Christos forgetting that you cannot hammer dash without a sword.
So it would not surprise me to see at least one of these runners just go straight into the Dark World from Kakariko, since you're right here. Although a more normal start would be to go to Hype Cave first and hope to get something out of there to make your Dark World running a little nicer.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I would lean towards jkoper doing it, since he is going to be heading in a northward direction, whereas for Christos, he'd have to dash all the way back through Kakariko. So, not sure if either will choose to do that, but if I had to guess between one or the other, I would say that jkoper would go straight into the Village of Outcasts.
And there's that glove for jkoper. And yeah, with doing the well last, he'll be in a good position to just run straight into the Dark World. Yeah, as chat points out, he might want to just beeline for that bumper ledge to put that pedestal question to rest.
Yeah, now is the best time to do that, since, you know, it's fresh in your mind that that cape is sitting on pedestal. And really, it'll completely and totally change how you route the seed. It'll become an all-dungeon seed outside of AGA 1 and AGA 2 versus just 7 crystals in the Ganon.
Yeah, so Christos not gonna go to the Dark World immediately. Gonna check out a few things on the South Shore first.
Yeah, not surprising. There's a couple items here, a bunch of items over in Mini Moldorm Cave, and then depending on how much he gets in terms of cash, he also has the potential of doing water walking or fake flippering, and with the Moon Pearl being able to do all of those checks as well. So, we'll see.
Alright, jkoper first into the Dark World, gonna run straight into Skullwoods. Meanwhile, Christos gonna check out Mini Moldorm Cave there. And we do not get a map check from jkoper, but we do hear the crystal music playing inside Skullwoods.
Yeah, that is a good catch. Meanwhile, Ice Rod over in Mini Moldorm Cave, along with the shovel and the best boomerang. So, not a bad turnout there.
Yeah, nothing critical that jkoper's missing, but probably going to be a required item. Christos outrunning his arrow there.
Whew, that really puts a spin on Gotta Go Fast. That's funny, because I always thought that the arrow went approximately the same speed as you dash, but that is apparently not the case. Yeah, so chat asking, the alteration that was made to this last seed is Fast Ganon. And I believe jkoper is just waiting patiently for a hand out of the dungeon, but... Yep, there we go. So yeah, so outside of requiring a sword, we are not going to see any GT today.
jkoper unfortunately forgot that he had gone down the hole, and the hand just puts him back there, so not exactly what he wanted.
Meanwhile, Christos is setting up that fake flipper there. He also did set up a water walk, so probably going to check out Hobo and then water walk south from there. Or just water walk out of... Interesting. I wouldn't have thought that he would have set up a water walk and then not checked it.
So keep your eyes on jkoper's screen here. We're going to see this bumper ledge, and it is just a red rupee, so pedestal not required.
Yeah, sorry guys, at about 12.5 minutes, the ped is dead.
But at least that is information jkoper has. He knows he can bow out of pendant dungeons. As Christos spots a sword on the Zor ledge, and I think we're going to see some... oh yeah, he does that. That is why he stored that water walk. He could have also done one of those new splash deletion glitches. But the stored water walk works just as well. And yeah, he picks up that first sword out of logic. But always nice to have one.
Yeah, it honestly amazes me that we're sitting here talking about a game that's about 30 years old, and we are still finding new ways to, ever so slightly break it.
Yeah, for sure. This game has been dissected very thoroughly. So it's surprising that we're still finding new things.
Meanwhile, Thieves Town so far living up to its name, 300 rupees there.
And Christos actually going to head over to the eastern area, still not going to dive the Dark World, which makes sense. Eastern is a crystal, may as well get it out of the way right now. First checking Sash's closet, getting a red potion and a couple of heart pieces.
So I guess you could say that the back of Sash's closet was half-hearted.
Oof.
I'm sorry.
Alright, nothing much in the front of Thieves Town. And worth noting, jkoper does not have a sword, so this blind fight not going to be the easiest thing in the world. He does have blue mail to make it slightly safer.
That fairy in a bottle will also probably save his bacon should push come to shove. And ChristosOwen showing us exactly how cruel the game is by waiting until after we're done with this dungeon to give us the boots.
jkoper taking a few bumps in the hellway there. Definitely a tricky room to navigate with no sword.
Yeah, not fun at all.
Taking another bump from those grasshoppers, so he's got to be... like you said, does have that fairy, but he'd rather not use it, I think. Oh, he lets go of the fairy.
No, he didn't I don't think he let go of that. I'm pretty sure that was a cricket that just dropped one for him.
Oh, well, that's pretty convenient.
Yeah, he didn't want to use his fairy, so we just gave him another one. Meanwhile, we've seen 2 items out of Eastern, but nothing terribly helpful, so we might just be looking for a crystal clear here. Don't think we're going to get much else.
Christos is going to go check this big chest. No light source, so it is out of logic, but these are relatively easy dark rooms to do.
Yeah, especially with the sword, he has a way to mark his progress solidly, even on the dark screen. Without a sword, it'd be a little more difficult.
And jkoper not opening the maiden chest, so I assume he's found all the items already.
Meanwhile, ChristosOwen having liberal usage of that speed spin there. And Blind gives us another terrible pun as we proceed to whomp him in the head a bunch of times with the hammer.
And he is going to have to use that fairy. But he should be fine. I think he's got enough health to tank this out even if he takes a few more hits.
Yeah, especially with the iframes you get there. Makes it not too difficult, because you can usually get at least one free swing on him.
And ChristosOwen getting through those dark rooms, putting that ether medallion to use.
Yep, just under 18 minutes, jkoper grabbing their first crystal of this seed. Christos going to be right behind them.
And Christos with a perfect Armos fight. Christos, of course, being a very strong NMG runner, I would expect him to almost never miss that quick kill.
Yeah, that's a good call. Meanwhile, jkoper going to go ahead and do our digging game, and then probably head south for Stumpy and Hype Cave. And at this point, it does look like Christos is going to run over jkoper's tracks, although maybe not. Going to do the back of escape first. Not a bad call. Chat asking how hard the pod darkroom is. The maze can be confusing, especially if you get hit one too many times and kind of lose track of where you are. But overall, it's not bad. I feel like the main deterrent for our runners would be the turtle room, because that without a fire source at all can get out of hand quickly. Because you have to flip those 6 turtles over and then whomp them again. And since they all take tempered sword damage to kill, you're either looking at 2 master sword swings for Christos, a hammer hit, or a master sword spin. So it's not perfectly ideal. I think that if it gets down to the point of pod being convenient, our runners will go do it anyways, but probably looking for fire rod, lamp, or at least a couple more hearts.
And meanwhile,
Speaking of,
yeah, Christos finding a couple of nice items. Back of Escape had the Master Sword for him, and Dark Ross had that mirror. Meanwhile, jkoper finding the lamp in Hype Cave, so that's going to put the Dark Room question to rest.
Yep, that is a good point. Christos probably right behind them. All right, for our pendants, we have Mire, Ice, and Turtle Rock being the green pendant, and then we have Skull Woods as our other 5/6. So that ice rod, hopefully not required today.
And just a heart container on the pyramid ledge. And jkoper decides it is worth the time to pick it up. Meanwhile, Christos heading into Hype Cave to get that lamp. And jkoper looks to be heading straight for pod, which makes a lot of sense here.
Yep, with the lamp, it's pretty much just straight up in logic at this point. Although, unfortunately, jkoper is missing the mirror that would make this an excellent play with being able to do Eastern directly after the fact. Giving up on that fairy there, too. I didn't even know that was a fairy tree, so good knowledge on his part.
And one thing I just noticed, with this pendant layout and the fact that it's fast Ganon, The mitts are not required this seed.
Well, that's a terrifying thought. So that's going to be the item that our runners don't want to see. Everything else is fine. Don't show me the mitts. Because as long as I don't have the mitts, don't have to dip a pendant dungeon.
So it's pretty rare to see in a 7, especially in a 7/7 seed, to see the mitts not being required. But here we are.
Yeah, and the most amusing part about that is that mitts don't really lock a whole lot outside of those 3 dungeons. So unless there's something sitting on top of Dark Death Mountain or in one of those 3 dungeons, we straight up might not need it. Or Smith Chain. Everything else is not mitts locked. So that's nice, at least.
Yeah. So yeah, another thing we don't need, the Cane of Samaria. No use for that at all, unless of course we do have to go into one of those pendant dungeons. So taking stock of what we need, we're just looking for flippers, hook shot, and fire rod. That's it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's interesting. We could also put. No, we won't. I was just gonna say we might need bombos for Ice Palace, but Ice Palace isn't required. This is crazy. This might be one of those sneaky seeds.
Alright, so both runners going through the front of pod now. As usual, mostly just finding keys in the front.
Yeah, the front of pod is pod's like a mullet. Business in the front, party in the back. As with those 6 first chests, you were guaranteed at minimum 4 small keys. And between the other 2 small keys that you could get, the big key and the 2 dungeon items, you usually don't see much terribly useful in the front of pod.
Oh, never mind. There's our fire rod.
I'm calling that one a commentator's blessing, because usually I'm the one that's jinxing people, so I'm going to take full credit for that fire rod. So yeah, we are hooking flippers away from go mode. That's a... you can't run that fast, Christos.
And jkoper having a bit of a tough time here. This room can be really annoying.
Yeah, those beetles really love knocking you around. Also, it's a heck of a lot harder to dash without a sword, so jkoper having a much more difficult time of that. Alright, looks like we're going to see another minor divergence here, as Christos is going to go ahead with that hammer yump. Again, slightly misplacing that key. Or the bomb, and also the key, because he thought he had it.
Ooh, a flute.
That's also kind of a trap item.
Yeah. It's nice to have, in a sense, but that's also kind of ominous. Could be pointing towards something in the mire area.
Yeah, that's a fair point, but flute on its own doesn't really unlock anything at this point, since the mountain's already in logic with our glove and lamp. So flute just kind of being somewhat helpful to us, and maybe step 1 of something potentially terrible going on, but nothing yet. So we could still hold out on hoping that we don't see those mitts anywhere.
Yeah, Crystal's going to stock up on some rupees here. Maybe has a potential Zora visit on mine. But it's never a bad idea to just pick up some extra rupees anyway.
Yeah, most definitely. Looks like we might. Never mind. I thought we were going to see a second hammer yump there,
I
which we
think
might
we
still
are.
see.
Looks like he just wanted to run down to the bottom of the room. So normally when you do the hammer jump, you're doing it from the bottom. And I guess maybe he just finds it easier to do it that way.
Yep, jkoper not losing any time there, though, because that death warp was just about perfect, so... Just losing a little bit of time on the death animation, but didn't have to run around the dark maze trying to beg people to smack him around a bit.
jkoper realizing he went the wrong way.
It happens, pod's confusing. Alright, so thankfully... That's alright. So thankfully these rooms not going to be terrifying since we have both the lamp and the fire rod.
Yeah, Christos probably going to have a bit of an easier time with that Master Sword. He'll be able to use the normal NMG strats going through this basement. jkoper, I'm not sure if you can get the one cycle without the sword. I've never really tried it, but we'll see how he does it.
I've seen it
And Christos does execute that turtle room perfectly. And we are going to see this Helmosaur fight now from ChristosOwen.
17 smacks to the helmet, and then the jewel is unlocked, and you have a couple of different ways to finish it off. That was a great turtle room from jkoper.
Yeah. Slightly slower than the sword strap, but not by much.
Alrighty, so just on the heels of that one, we have another Helmosaur fight. It is kind of amusing seeing the sword holding out strats when you don't actually have a sword.
Yeah.
Gonna go with 8 arrows here, and Helmosaur was standing still there for a minute to let in about 6 of those shots, but then started moving around again, because of course.
Alright, nicely done by jkoper. So both runners with 2 crystals now. ChristosOwen gonna go ahead and activate that flute.
Yep, gonna pull out the ocarina and release the Quacken.
And so Christos has a couple of options here. He could go into the Dark World right here. He can take care of Skullwoods and Thieves Town. Or he could go up to the mountain, take care of Hera and a bunch of checks up there.
Looks like he's gonna be going... Oh wow, doing the third option. We're gonna go see Desert.
Alright, I didn't even think about this one, but certainly a valid option here as well.
No, I totally thought he was going to do Skull Woods and then Thieves Town. And then when you mentioned the mountain and he grabbed the flute, I was like, oh, okay, well, we're going to see a mountain and Hera check. And then, he went for option C.
Alright, jkoper checking the Bonk Rocks here. Let's hope where's he going next? No, he's skipping Back of Escape. This could be bad for him. Because we know there's a sword and a mirror in there that he needs to get. He definitely needs the mirror. He might need the sword.
Yeah, that's a good point. Meanwhile, we have a second Duck Liberty having in just a moment here. Alrighty, so the duck is officially unstuck for both of our runners. Christos did see a couple of arrows sitting on the torch there, but ignored that, so we're only looking at one more item here in Desert. And it looks like we are going to have the Eastern play here from jkoper, which is honestly a really good idea at this point. You're not going to be able to pair it with Pod since you already finished it, so might as well just take it out.
Yeah, especially with it being one of those 5-6 crystals, Pyramid Fairy could be a thing.
It could very well. That's something I completely and totally forgot about. It's a good point there.
Alright, Crystal's done with the front of Desert. Gonna head back and defeat Landmo now. He's got that Fire Rod or the Ice Rod, so it should be a fairly straightforward fight.
Yeah, between those two, the hammer, and if things really go south, you still have the bow and the Master Sword. He's kind of spoiled for choice.
So again, if you're just joining us a little late, we are only looking for hookshot and flippers for go mode. jkoper is missing the mirror, which was at Dark Cross, and he's missing a couple of swords, one of which was in the back of Escape, and the other was on Zora Ledge. This is kind of an unusual seed where we do not require the Titan's Mats whatsoever. The 3 pendant dungeons, Ice Palace, Mire, and Turtle Rock are the only ones that do require mets, and it is fast Ganon, so we don't need to go to Ganon's Tower. So yeah, this could very well be a mitsless seed.
Meanwhile, Landmo getting absolutely obliterated by that Fire Rod.
Very nice fight by Christos.
Yep, up to 3 crystals there. I wouldn't be surprised at this point, especially on Christos' side, since he is only 2 items away, to just see him plow through every dungeon he can get his hands on and just hope that he runs into whatever items he needs.
Yeah, he'll do like some convenient checks on the way, like a Gina here. But I imagine he might go, so yeah, he'll probably next go for one of those options I mentioned earlier, either the mountain or Skullwoods and Thieves Town.
Yep, Agonis Cave coming up empty. Meanwhile, jkoper dashes his way through Eastern, still looking for one of those swords. And that's honestly the interesting thing about open mode that a lot of people don't really consider, because open mode has become, for lack of a pun, the standard in how most seeds are run. But it's kind of difficult to figure out when you want to route in the front of Escape and when you want to route in the back, and if you want to do them both together or separate, or an hour in or 6 minutes in. So this is one of those interesting things where there were a couple of items back there that are helpful, and it might take jkoper a while to get back there.
Yeah, I imagine at this point, like Christos, he's probably just going to be in dungeon diving mode. Now, it doesn't have that sword, so it's not going to be able to complete Skullwoods, and with no mirror or hookshot, can't get to Tower of Hera. So maybe starting to get locked out pretty quickly, but he'll still be able to do Desert and finish off Eastern in the meantime.
Yeah, very much so. This is honestly one of those situations where you could easily have a runner get randoed, and I really hope it doesn't happen. But if someone, for instance, picks up the mitts somewhere, that could easily turn into a red herring that, we end up chasing through a couple pendant dungeons and a smith chain. And if there's nothing in any of those spots, then we could have an unfortunate ending for whichever runner went that way. So I'm really hoping for no mitts.
Yeah, that would be pretty fun to see. And again, we do still have quite a few checks left on Death Mountain that don't require mitts, so that dream is still alive.
Oh yeah, and even if it's a situation where we do end up getting the mitts, doesn't necessarily mean we're going to need them, we just may have them in our inventory.
Jkoper not setting up for the quick kill on Armos, but still gets a fairly efficient kill nonetheless, and that is crystal number 3.
So, honestly, at this point, I think what we're looking for as Christos nails the God Pixel. That is always so much fun to see. But anyways, I think what we're really kind of hoping for here is hookshot next, and then flippers for go mode. Like, that would be awesome, because that's a definite go mode swamp. And it keeps the mitts out of the discussion.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, at this point, we're just waiting for runners to kind of get through these crystal dungeons before we get onto some new checks here. We haven't seen Skullwoods yet, so you know, or did we? We saw the front of Skullwoods, I think, or did we?
Yeah, we did see the front. I think we saw one item, but we might not have even seen that, honestly. There was a lot of dungeon stuff in there and a lot of keys, so I don't know how many items we're missing in Skullwoods as a collective unit. So we will see, I would assume here. jkoper forgetting that hints are turned off for this tournament.
And Crystal's also remembering not to open the maiden chest since all 4 items in Thievestown were already collected.
Yeah, great heads-up play by both runners, honestly. It's hard to make. It's hard to even see that when you're sitting here commentating. It is infinitely harder to do it when you're actually playing. Alright, so in theory, Christos is going to have a bit of an easier time with a sword. I say that tentatively because, well, commentator's curse is the thing. But yeah, not a thing in this go-round, so congrats. Christos grabbing their 4th crystal, and jkoper going to be right behind them as soon as land mode bites the dust.
Crystal's going to check this bombable hut here and imagine head up to Skullwoods next.
Yeah, and then at that point, we could potentially see Graveyard Ledge and Kingstown. jkoper struggling there a little bit with the Fire Rod. Managed to take out one of them, but each remaining land mode is still going to require 1 Fire Rod hits, two Hammer hits a piece. And yeah, the Hammer hitbox is the Hammer hitbox.
So this lack of a sword really costing jkoper some time here. But does get it done. So that is now 2 crystals apiece. Or sorry, 4 crystals apiece. Although Christos is working on that 5th one now.
Yep, and at this point, jkoper has run into a wall. So we're going to see some more overworld checks here because jkoper doesn't really have much of a choice.
Yeah, hopefully he'll get to that back of escape and Dark Cross pretty soon. Those are pretty quick checks, so most runners are not going to put them off very long. The only reason jkoper did is, again, he had crystal dungeons to clear.
I also wouldn't be surprised to see these Zora and other flipper checks in jkoper's future, because even though that is technically out of logic, it's a logic that a lot of people ignore.
And Crystal's just blazing through the back of Skullwoods here. Stops to pick up a full magic refill and gets bunny beamed there. Oh, jkoper hasn't even checked Mini Moldorm Cave yet.
That's a good point. That is something I completely forgot about. Did they check, have they checked the dam yet?
I'm not sure, probably.
Because I don't think they did South Shore at all, unless he just did it. Man, Hammer making quick work of of Mothula back there. That was a great fight.
Alright, Crystal's up to 5 crystals now. There's that shovel and the ice rod for jkoper.
And that's actually an item location we have not seen yet. No dig spot for either of our runners yet today.
And it looks like ChristosOwen gonna check that pedestal now. So he'll find out the cape is there, and we'd be shocked if he didn't immediately go to Bumper Ledge.
Yeah, I think we're going to clear out the front of Skullwoods here and then do Bumper Ledge, which will make him much more likely to route in King's Tomb and Graveyard Ledge with it afterwards.
Alright, jkoper taking care of some of those Sphere 1 checks. Let's see where he goes next. Back to 8. Okay, he's going to do some fake flippering. So we'll be able to see the sword on Zora Ledge. If he knows how to do splash deletion, he'll be able to get it.
We'll also be able to see the Zora item, which we have not yet, because ChristosOwen had, I want to say, 140 rupees last time he was over there.
Yeah, although Christos, I think, going to have a nice route here. He'll check Bumper Ledge, and he will be able to do Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, and then potentially Kern Jump over to do... Oh, wow, there's a hook shot on Hobo. So that is out of logic, locked behind the flippers. Now, the hook shot actually doesn't open up any new locations for us.
No, but it does mean, well, it opens up the potential for Flipper Go mode, which would be very nice, actually, and make all of these checks by jkoper not necessarily useful.
jkoper having a bit of a tough time getting in that whirlpool. And ChristosOwen now heading up to the mountain, and there's the Titan's mitts on the old man. So those flippers can be in quite a few locations now.
Yeah, that's the item we didn't want to see, so naturally Rando waited a little bit and then showed it to us.
But this could be bad news for Christos because, oh, there's another sword there in Waterfall Ferry. So jkoper, again, if he does a splash deletion, he'll be on Master Sword after this.
Yep, and we'll get to see the item that Zora actually hands out, which would be nice. Kind of surprised we didn't get an Ether tablet check there by Christos.
Yeah, heading into Hera first. We are going to see here what Zora has. Nothing. And there's our last sword in Hera lobby. So Tempered Sword, almost certainly both runners going to get Tempered Sword here.
I don't know. jkoper didn't end up grabbing that sword on Zora Ledge, so that's a sword they willingly passed up on.
That's true. Yeah, it's possible he doesn't know the splash deletion, or maybe just decided not to go for it. He is finally making his way now to back of escape, so he will get that Master Sword here, as well as the mirror, assuming he does Dark Cross.
Yeah, I would say that's a pretty safe assumption at this point.
And second item in Hera, just $100. So Christos can just go straight up to Moldorm.
And that's going to be our 6th crystal. This seed very quick so far. Now, given we still do need the hookshot and the flippers on Christos' side, and then flippers and mirror, which is just about to be gotten here in just a moment on jkoper's side.
Alright, so jkoper got that mirror. I imagine he'll head to... well, he might take care of Skull Woods and then head to the mountain. We also now have Pyramid Fairy open, so that's an option. But with those myths, we got all of Dark Death Mountain. Crystal's now checking Ether Tablet.
And honestly, Dark Death Mountain isn't a bad play. And even the myths of themselves, although they do unlock a decent amount of items, it's not going to truly turn terrible until we see that Cane of Samaria. Then we could be getting far down the rabbit hole. Oh no. I'm sorry.
And that is the Cane of Samaria, of course, sitting right on Floating Island. So that's going to potentially open up Turtle Rock. Again, we haven't seen the medallion yet, as jkoper picks up those Titan Smiths.
And jkoper probably sitting here going, that's the one item I didn't want to see. Why did you show me that? So at this point, we've kind of switched. For a long while there, we had jkoper having an item that they really needed to go find in an awkward spot, and now it's ChristosOwen with the hook shot sitting on Hobo. It's kind of a weird spot for that.
Yeah. Now, if jkoper's paying attention, he'll know that the flippers cannot be in Hookshot Cave, except in the first chest.
That is a good point. One of the few sets of locations that are actually locked by our hookshot.
And we got now both players going into Paradox Cave. So let's see what we got in here.
Which, predictably, given that we're only missing one item between our two runners, Paradox Cave not really having much of anything.
Yep. So yeah, ChristosOwen having that 2 crystal advantage, but without that hook shot, and that's on Hobo. That is a bit of an awkward location. So really there is some hope for jkoper depending on how Christos decides to route.
Christos forgetting he's in the Dark World, and in the Dark World you have to go into the left-hand side cave, not the right-hand side one. And then deciding to delete both blocks because, well, I have the mirror here. Why not?
And we get a bug net and some rupees.
Yeah, so far nothing helpful whatsoever on the mountain. We do have a couple more checks. jkoper could be tempted into checking the entirety of Hookshot Cave. We'll see.
And so he's going to see that terrible Cane of Samaria sitting on Floating Island.
Yeah, he's also in just a moment going to see that Turtle Rock is in fact ether.
Christos picking up the pot, forgetting he needs it to bonk off of to get to that first chest. And jkoper gonna head into Hookshot Cave as well. So in the first chest we have the Bombos Medallion.
Honestly, I feel like Death Mountain was just a series of emphatic eye rolls. You start off by getting the mitts, and you're like, alright, I didn't want to see that, but it's not the end of the world. And then you see the red cane up on the ledge, and you're like, no, that's not what I wanted. And then, of course, Green Pendant Turtle Rock requires Mire, or requires the Ether, I should say, which both of our runners have. So, ugh.
So jkoper did check the rest of Hookshot Cave, which cannot have his flippers. It is possible maybe he knew that and was just looking for an extra sword or silver arrows. And, you know, it's probably worth the time to just do those quick 3 checks for that. And looks like Christos is going to open up Turtle Rock. jkoper not going to bother. Well, he's going to do Hera first. That makes sense.
Yep, so it'll be interesting to see if both of our runners do the same thing here. If not, this could very easily be the thing that decides our race. Yeah, chat pointing out that our flippers like hiding in TR, and it definitely wouldn't be the first time.
And Crystal's finding half magic there in the first chest of Turtle Rock.
Yeah, that's definitely not a bad grab.
Yeah, especially when you're looking at Silverless Ganon, looking at extra magic is nice.
Yeah, it also comes in handy for Trinex. You can use it to completely demolish that ice head with the fire rod if you are so inclined.
And Crystal's doing a good job of remembering when you have no hook shot, you have to go the long way around here. That's so easy to forget.
Yeah, especially if you're used to doing NMG because, well, you always have the hook shot here.
Did jkoper not check the lobby chest? Because he doesn't have a tempered sword. I guess deciding to check it later.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting routing. Although it only does take a second to do. So.
Oh no!
Oh.
That is about a minute of time lost for jkoper there, falling down that middle hole. And then a couple extra seconds for the map check. Meanwhile, ChristosOwen going deeper into Turtle Rock here.
Thankfully, jkoper getting bounced by the bumper, but not bounced into the hole. Alright, there we go. Moldorm being a little more friendly this go-around.
And there's the vanilla big key for Christos. And crystal number 5 for jkoper.
Yep, and with crystal number 6 being Skull Woods, that's going to be a really quick finish for jkoper.
Alright, there he gets that tempered sword now. Probably wishes he had that on Moldorm, but no big deal.
So this is a situation where if Christos decides to complete this check and jkoper does not, which it doesn't look like he's going to, this could get really interesting really fast.
Yeah, again, we're still looking for the flippers. Both runners need those. And the hook shot we found on Hobo, which ChristosOwen has not yet checked. Mimic Cave, just a hard piece. And jkoper actually going to check the Mire area.
Not a bad check. I am slightly confused by the fact that jkoper didn't bother doing the what do you call it, Spike Cave. Just because even though it's not technically in logic right now, it's a cane of Burna away from it, which ChristosOwen literally just picked up in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I'm sure he has at least one red potion, so he would have been able to get through Spike Cave. And here is Checkerboard Cave. And just some money there. We already paid off Zora, so we don't need that.
Alright, so jkoper are about to take down Mothula. So if you guys want a close race, you are looking for nothing of importance here in Turtle Rock for ChristosOwen. Because if those flippers are here, then I feel like it's only a matter of time before Hobo gets checked.
Alright, last chest on Laser Bridge is silver arrows. Not quite what he was looking for, but, you know, you'll always take those.
Meanwhile, we are going to see Graveyard Ledge here and almost definitely King's Tomb afterwards, which are checks that Christos did not do.
Nothing at Graveyard Ledge. Christos going to set up nice backdoor strats on Trinex here.
Did we see the medallion requirement for Mire?
I didn't catch it.
I didn't either. It looks like our tracker did not either. Did anybody in chat? Oh, okay. So, chat just pointing out that he was not close enough to see it. So, never mind. jkoper didn't catch it either.
Alright, beautiful Trinex fight there by Christos. And King's Tomb not paying off with anything. And just a map on Trinex, but we do get that green pendant.
Oh boy, this is going to become one of those seeds. Alright, it is the chase down for flippers. It looks like we are going to see a Spike Cave check from Christos, which will be a little more new information. Meanwhile, jkoper going to take a look at a big 20, which will not be grabbed.
Just a single rupee there at the end of Spike Cave, so I imagine Christos going to go straight to turning that green pendant. And then he'll have to make some decisions on where to go after that. We still have the Smith chain unchecked. And of course there is Misery Mire. But not too much else that I can think of.
You know, I'm pretty sure we also have the dig spot that's left unchecked, and Cave 45 and Bombo's tablet, if I'm not mistaken.
And that looked to be Quake. on Misery Mire, so we actually cannot get in there just yet.
Well, that's a relief at least. We'll just have to come back later.
Oh, chat saying it was Ether. Looked like Quake to me. Crystal's gonna check out Checkerboard Cave first, though, as jkoper is gonna take on Module here and will be caught up on crystals. And it looks like it was Ether from Mire, so I'm sorry I doubted you, chat.
Oh, this is interesting. Christo's still not turning in that green pendant either, so this is an intriguing choice. Only 2 items in here.
Yeah, I'm very surprised. I mean, you invested all that time in Turtle Rock. I would have gone to turn that in.
I mean, I feel like even if you don't, you'd go for, you know, Smith's Chain before that, especially since you could route Cave 45 into it. I feel like there are just denser checks that you can make that would allow you to run through more stuff.
jkoper looks to be heading now, probably going to do the Smith Chain here. As we get a key in the first chest of Mire.
Yeah, probably going to have the big key in the next chest because, well, we're looking for an item, so why not?
We'll get a second key, and ChristosOwen picks up the third key under the pot for good measure. As jkoper indeed is heading for the Smiths. Yeah, chat points out we still have Pyramid Fairy. That's open to us. Where's that big key?
I still don't think we've seen a single item in here, though.
No, not yet. Just a fire shield there in hammer pegs.
So with only a swamp palace between us and Ganon, I dare say the next person who, the person who hits go mode first is going to have a really good shot at this.
Oh yeah, it's going to be very quick to the end of the game after we hit that go mode item. And just a key in the cutscene chest, so still no items out of Mire.
You gotta love Mire, right? Right? Maybe? No? Yeah, me neither.
I like Mire.
I don't think ChristosOwen likes Mire right now. Now, he might like Mire a lot in a minute, depending on what it gives him, but I feel like right now...
Oh! How about the flippers?
Alright, Christos probably likes Mire.
Okay, well, Christos is not in go mode yet. He needs to get the hook shot that is on Hobo. So yeah, jkoper needs to just get into Misery Mire before ChristosOwen gets to Hobo.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting, because at this point, we know everything, but our runners are both missing different integral parts. Oh, well, that doesn't actually mean anything, thankfully, other than not having to defeat Fiddy. So that's something, right?
Yep. All right, so where does Christos go next?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Smith Chain, honestly. Never mind.
I was going to turn in that green pendant, as jkoper is going to check the Bombos tablet. Nothing there. Of course, we already knew there would be nothing there.
jkoper must have a sticky map key because that's the third time I've seen him. Ha! That's not nice. The hospital goes, oh, you like green things. Here's a green rupee.
Alright, fluting to 8. And ChristosOwen, is this a hobo check? It is.
It is. So ChristosOwen is about to be in go mode, and I think jkoper is about to do Pyramid Fairy, so that's going to be unfortunate.
Yeah, so ChristosOwen gonna hit go mode with this hook shot here. He's just gonna have to run through swamp real quick. He's got plenty of gear, no reason to check any chests. And immediately he'll just go to Ganon. So this is looking pretty dire for jkoper. Don't really see how he can come back here.
Yeah, at this point, it's Christos' race to lose. Most definitely. Especially with how far those flippers are into Mire. While you could check that chest fairly quickly, most people don't choose to, so...
Yeah. I mean, even if he went to Mire immediately, he'd still be several minutes behind. And again, without that GT routing game to even give him a chance, this is basically just going to come down to execution for Christos. As long as he doesn't make any enormously disastrous mistakes, he's going to take this pretty handily.
Yeah, we'd have to be looking at multiple falls from Ganon as jkoper decides to go ahead and do Catfish, which is not going to pay off and going to take quite a bit of time. Chat putting in a potential Christos finish at about 1 hour, 18 minutes, and 30 seconds, and I'm feeling like it's going to be under 115, honestly. Maybe a little over that, but 118 would really surprise me, especially with silvers.
Oh yeah, it'll be much faster than that. One possibility I just saw in chat is if ChristosOwen forgets that his fast Ganon goes and does GT.
That would be the first time I saw that. It would definitely be an interesting part to a seed. That would be for sure. And it looks like we are going to get a Mire check here, so jkoper at least not going to get absolutely demolished on this seed, so that's nice.
Yeah, so he is on the right path here. Unfortunately, it is going to be just too little too late. Actually, he's mirroring and heading into desert. Did he not get the second item in here?
No, didn't do any of the right-hand side.
Meanwhile, Christos already at the back of swamp.
Yeah, this dungeon is stupid fast if you just have to clear it for the crystal. You know, we still never did see the dig spot, so we're going to have to wait until the credits to see what's lurking over there.
Yeah. And jkoper noping out of Mire, so I mean, it didn't really matter. The game was pretty much already in Christos' favor, but
yeah, that just kind of cementing it. And honestly, it's really not a bad choice given the discrepancy in items here. You're looking at 2 items in Mire versus 6, which includes Mimic Cave, 7 if you include the green pendant. I mean, it completely and totally makes sense. While ChristosOwen absolutely demolishes Argus. Holy cow.
beautiful fight.
Alright, and now with that Swamp Palace map, we are ready to go. Wait. With the 7th crystal, we are ready to go fight Ganon. So sorry, chat, we are not going to have a GT Big Key guessing game. If you want, you can try and guess the finishing time if you're so inclined.
How about we guess the number of Ganon teleports we get?
That's a good one. I like that one. How many are you going to go with?
Let's say, I don't know, I'll go with 8.
With 8. I'm going to say that Ganon's going to be nice. I'm going to say 5. 1 extra. That's it.
Alright. So again, with Fast Ganon, Christos just has to run up to the pyramid, and he will be at Ganon in just a few seconds here. And Tempered Sword and Silver Arrows, this should be cake for such a strong runner as Christos.
Yeah, most definitely. Professor Renderer, you do have to keep in mind the square root of 128 is not actually a whole number. And I don't think we're going to get approximately 11.3 or 11.4. I'm not great at doing square roots in my head, but I think it comes out to be about that.
And yeah, Christos not quite getting the one-on-one, but still doing a pretty nice job nonetheless. There's 1, 2. 3. 4.
Come on, be nice. Be nice. Be nice. Dang it.
6 teleports. So you were close.
I was, but Werfjig was full-on correct with a guess of 6, so kudos to being the first person to guess 6.
And there is the final arrow for ChristosOwen. So he's just got to cross that little bridge into the Triforce room. Get your GGs in chat. And ChristosOwen has won with an official SRL time of 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 12 seconds. And he takes this best of 3 series as jkoper throws in the immediate forfeit. And we're going to try and get both these runners in here for an interview, but what a crazy seed. Looked to be potentially a very jet seed. Unfortunately, those flippers were a little tricky to find. But still 114, even with Fast Ganon, that's a pretty fast time. And so, with that, ChristosOwen is going to be moving on to face Hitsoyan in the next series, and the winner of that will advance to the brackets. Meanwhile, jkoper will be fighting for his tournament life against Paradox64. So, those matches, I imagine, will be coming up over the next week or so. But yeah, with that, at this point, we're just going to wait for the runners to join us.
Yeah, this seed once again proving that that Rando's a troll, looking for just a couple of items and kind of offhand spots. Christos ended up guessing correctly first. Also did clear stuff a little bit faster, just overall. jkoper kind of made the gamble for overworld items a little more, and that didn't end up paying off.
Yeah, we are joined now by ChristosOwen. GG, congrats on the win.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was a really fun 2 games. It's been a long evening.
Yeah. I guess you're glad this one was a relatively quick seed after a doubleheader.
Yeah, so this seed, my initial routing worked out so well for me, and I was feeling so good. And once I got the Dark World map check and I saw that the 3 pendants were Ice Maya to the Rock, and it was Fast Ganon, I was like, okay, this could be a mitless seed. And
yeah, we were certainly hoping for one.
Yeah, me too. So I was really upset when I found meds on the old man, and then almost immediately found Samaria. Like a few minutes later, I was like, "Oh, come on!"
Yeah.
And then, of course, Turtle Rock was the medallion that you had at that point. So
Yeah,
the
the thing is,
mountain was totally you, just to kind of screw you in that whole sequence right there.
I didn't want to do Turtle Rock because I didn't have the hook shot. I couldn't get back to East Darkworld Death Mountain quickly. So I was like, if I don't do it now, then I'm going to be leaving it for a long time. So I figured, okay, I'll just go in now while I'm here, sort of thing. And I can clear up the entire mountain in the Light and Dark World. Unfortunately, didn't have what I was looking for. I found like Silver's Half Magic, Brian, just like so many items I didn't need.
Yeah, so after finding those flippers, you went straight to Hobo. Any particular reason for that?
I was going to do Hobo followed by Waterfall and then go into Ice Palace. There's a few things. So I feel like this went extremely well until I cleared out 5 crystals. And then after finishing Skullwoods, I just like... After finishing Skullwoods, my initial plan was to check Bumper Ledge and then do Graveyard Ledge, King's Tomb, make my way to Catfish, and like just finish that little sweep of checks off. And I kind of on a whim decided, well, I'm right by Death Mountain entrance, and I do have all of Death Mountain open to me. So I decided to go up there, and that led to Mids, and then to Samaria, and then to Turtle Rock, which didn't have anything. So I was feeling pretty bad about that decision. So I really wanted to go back and get those locations done at some point. I don't know.
No.
There's a few locations which I was super scared about as well, because I never did a Stumpy or Dig game in the seed. I kind of just isolated that region. So I was praying, like if it was that location, I figured I was dead after my Turtle Rock play. So I was like, well, I have to go somewhere else.
Yeah, well, you did kind of have a lead fairly early on. You had that mirror much earlier than jkoper did, and that just made your routing a little more convenient, as well as having those swords. jkoper, you actually went to Zora Ledge and did the water walk for that sword. Funny enough, if you had gone into Waterfall Cave, there was another sword in there too.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah, so that's where jkoper got his tempered.
Oh, that's really funny. Oh man, so if I hadn't done the water walk, I would have got a hook shot and a sword, because I would have done Hobo as well. I would have gone back for Hobo right then.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that
double
would have
sword.
been crazy. jkoper gonna check that dig spot for us. Then it's just bombs there. But yeah, really kind of an odd seed with the mitts supposedly not being required, but then ending up being required anyway.
Well, yeah, and then of course you end up with our final go mode item sitting in the pendant dungeon that you wouldn't want to go in, because if you're sitting here going, okay, I have Turtle Rock, which includes Mimic Cave, and I have Mire. I mean,
Yeah.
You're going to go into Turtle Rock first pretty much every time.
Plus, it was the
So-
green pendant as well.
Exactly.
So it was just so many checks. If I had a hook shot, I may have delayed it a bit. Like, I at least would have done the Maya Overworld region. I probably wouldn't have gone into Maya before Turtle Rock regardless.
Yeah, that would definitely be a risky play. Like, if I saw someone do that, I'd be like, oh, they're looking for an edge here. Because, I mean, the chances of Mire having something versus Turtle Rock are just not in your favor if you're going with Mire first.
Yeah. Although Maya can be super quick. If it's a pendant and you find the 2 items and they're not on Vidi, it's only like a couple minutes or a few minutes.
That's a fair point. And with the super early book, you did know exactly what was sitting on the pedestal.
Yeah, so I saw that it was cave, and then I was like, okay, I need to go straight and check Bumper Ledge, see what it is. And I was also thinking the Spy Cave could be relevant. It could be an all dungeon seed for Spy Cave, until I found Brian in Turtle Rock. And I was like, oh, well, okay, maybe not.
Yeah, jkoper actually checked the pedestal immediately, less than 2 minutes in. So that was interesting.
Oh, wow. Where was the book? I was in Sanctuary, wasn't it?
It was, yeah.
I was too excited about my escape play to get boots, and then I was just like, yeah, I didn't even think about checking pedestal at that point.
Yeah. So you'll be moving on to face Hitzian. How are you feeling about that matchup?
It's gonna be tough. I don't know if we raced in any qualifiers together, but I know he was the number 2 seed overall. So I don't know that I necessarily do anything different with how I play, but yeah, they're going to be tough games, that's for sure. Super tough games.
Yeah, this version with kind of the weird locations that some of these items end up in just seems to be kind of a chuck and pray sort of version where you're just run through as many as you can and hope that you find that one isolated item somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just rewinding to game 1. So that worked out really well in my favor. So I checked Lumberjack early. I got really burned on a qualifier by not checking it, so I've kind of been checking it in every race since then. So it was the hammer, and we had Darkwood access pretty early in that first game. But I decided to do Dark Aghanim to get that hammer early. Like, it turns out I found the lamp pretty soon after that in like Thieves Town or Village of Outcasts or something. But it meant I had the hammer for my first trip to Village of Outcasts, and as part of that sweep, I did hammer pegs, which had the ice rod. And like, if I hadn't done the Dark Aga play, I rarely check Smith, Purple Chest, and hammer pegs. So I feel like I would have lost the game if I didn't do that, I think. It's the first time I've ever done it. I've never even practiced it before. I had to load up the maps and like look at where I was going.
And we are joined here by jkoper as well. GG, man.
Thanks.
How about those flippers?
GG's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's okay. Neither does Turtle Rock.
Oh, are they in Turtle Rock?
Nope, they're in Mire.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I figured Turtle Rock, more items go there first, but it doesn't seem like it would have mattered. You must have been into Mire before I was like at the entrance there.
Yeah. Well, you did kind of, I think, fall behind a little bit early on, partly due to, I think, not checking the back of Escape, so missing out on that sword and mirror for a while. So I think that kind of hurt you a little bit. And then later on, fake flipping and getting that hook shot definitely gave you a bit of hope. But unfortunately, I think it was a bit too little too late, as Christos immediately went to Hobo after finding the flippers in Mire.
Yeah, you seem to put a bit more weight into the overworld checks, and that didn't really help you out this seed all that much.
Yeah, I don't know. No regrets there.
Yeah, like, it forced some really tough decisions with the 3 Mitts log dungeons being the pendants. Like, it's almost impossible to guess right. Like, I didn't guess right. I guessed Turtle Rock, and that was wrong.
What's that? You did Turtle Rock first?
Yeah, I did. So I didn't have a hook shot when I went up to the mountain.
Yeah.
So I couldn't get back to Dark Death Mountain easily. So I was like, well, if I don't do it now, I'm gonna either have to reclimb or just delay it for a long time. So I did Turtle Rock when I was there.
Yeah. Well, that makes me sad too. The fact that you did both of them. I take it flippers were early in Mire, though. I don't know.
They were in the lobby chest. So
Okay.
yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah. Like, my early routing worked out super well for me. I went to castle, like to Uncle first, and got the bombs, and then did bomb escape and got boots. So I had boots like 2 minutes in.
Oh, okay.
And then I did fake flippers and got a sword pretty early from Zora Ledge, and did back of escape without the lamp, and found mirror, like all really early within like 15 minutes or so, 20 minutes.
Yeah. Christos, you kind of put off going into the Dark World for a while and did some more Light World checks, whereas jkoper, you kind of just jumped immediately into the Dark World, and unfortunately it just didn't pay off for you this time.
Yeah, I really thought that I would have had the boots first because I started at sync and I got the hammer, and then I went immediately to um through the through escape. So yeah, the
Christos
fact,
did the
yeah, no,
ankle route and got the 10
I heard
bombs.
what he just said. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, just a little surprising. Um, yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I don't have any too big of regrets. I fell down the center Moldorm hole. Um, like I did a spin and bounced off his head. I think it's the first time I've ever fallen off that way. Maybe, but yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
So you'll be facing Paradox 64 in your next best of 3. Do you have any thoughts about that matchup?
wait, really? I didn't know he was in our group.
Yeah, it's a pretty tough group. I think we've got the hardest group personally.
I don't really have any thoughts, but I know it's going to be a long battle to get back into this. Hopefully we can get some races in quickly, like Monday or something. But yeah, gonna have to do my best to get through that, and then see what happens in the next round after that if I can make it that far. But anyway, good game, Chris, and thanks for the restream commentary and tracking and everything, guys.
Yeah, thanks for the races. It was a really fun series.
Yeah, thanks to you guys for putting on this great show. This was definitely an exciting race. There were chances on both sides for sure. But with that, I think we're going to start to wrap things up here. I do want to take a moment to shout out to our tracker, Iceman F1. Did a great job for us today. And of course, my co-commentator, Hammer. Always a pleasure to work with you. And of course, thanks to chat for tuning in. Let me just open up the schedule here, and we'll see what else is going on as soon as the schedule loads for me. You can, by the way, type exclamation mark ALTTPR in chat, and that'll give you a link to the schedule so you can see what's coming up. But yeah, over on Speed Gaming 2 right now is Freddy versus Solski. And on Speed Gaming 3, match that just started a few minutes ago, Goomba and I Am the Schwartz. And then coming up in about, looks like about 20 minutes or so, GFE 12 versus Sailor Nep, and that's on the main Speed Gaming. We got several more matches going on. I'm not going to read all of them, but quite a few matches later on tonight, so make sure you follow Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2 through 6, as well as ALTTP Randomizer and ALTTP Randomizer 2 through 5 to make sure you can catch all the action. But yeah, with that, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Hammer, do you have any final thoughts for us?
Yeah, not too much. Just I hope you guys enjoyed the race. Definitely stay tuned. We've got a bunch more coming. We are still only in the group stages, so we have just a boatload more races waiting for you guys. I wish you guys the best of luck. Stay safe, and may your flippers not be in pendant mire. Have a good night, everyone.